Hello everyone, Manthrall here, and welcome to the Runefest special video I did. I watched the stream, and I found out the information as to what we can expect, and if you actually want to see a more written, detailed explanation as to what is to come over this next year for the major events. Keep in mind there's going to be other, not events, but like updates. There's going to be other updates coming along with this. It's not just these updates. So the biggest thing is they did announce a new skill, which is archaeology. So I missed out. I was guessing it was going to be sailing. I was thinking it was going to be an elite skill, and I was wrong. But what it is going to be, it's going to be archaeology, and it's going to be a combination of the two. Now, what I mean by of the two is that means you are going to be able to do gathering as well as production. So there is actually, two elements to the skill. And what you're going to be doing is you're going to be going to set locations, you're going to be exploring these big, massive dungeons, possibly gaining new artifacts, and that sucked. You'll be gaining new artifacts that you can sometimes find, and they will be damaged. You can actually rebuild them, and fix them, and get some benefits, get some new items, some new perks. There's actually a good deal going on with the invention. There's going to be different areas. There's going to be themes around the gods and a whole bunch of amazing stuff like that. Now, they didn't go into exact details of all the things that you can and cannot do, but they did give some ideas as to what is going on. Now, some of the bigger aspects of it is the fact that there is going to be stuff like, I believe it's called the kinetic boots. Essentially what these will do is you will be able to wear these, and as you're running around and doing stuff in RuneScape, you will actually be able to build up, and it will pop off energy that you could use to recharge your divination augmented gear. There's going to be items that you can actually attach to your augmented gear, which will actually help it charge up XP, and then you can turn around and sell those items to sell to like other players, and then you can actually gain profit from the stuff you do in game. The very, very first one, I believe, is going to be one in Al-Kharid, actually is going to be the first one, I believe. Yeah, the kinetic dynamo is the thing, but there's also going to be stuff like I have some notes here. There's going to be ancient summoning, which allows you to summon different types of demons. So it's very, very interesting. Sorry if this is not exactly what you had planned, but there's going to be some relics. There's going to be some passive effects you could get with it. There is going to be, I believe they said, over 20 passive effects available on launch. So that is actually going to be pretty big. The only problem is, with the passive effects being so powerful, the amount you can have is only going to be 3 at a time. So you can change them as you see fit. You would have to talk to Cronus, who will change that, help you change them. So that is how that is going to be plotted out, essentially. So do keep that in mind. Let's get him before he gets me. So we got that. That is going to be pretty awesome. There's going to be more information to come as time goes on. So do keep that in mind as time goes on. The next thing is going to be the Ranch Out of Time, which is going to be pretty awesome. We have Oh, before I even go on to that, archaeology, the biggest thing about it is a level 120 skill. So that is something to keep in mind. It's going to be 120. It is not an elite skill, so you can get in and literally start doing it right away. So that is the thing to keep in mind. It is not an elite skill. You will have no other prior requirements other than to just enjoy the skill. And it's being predicted to be released January, this coming January 2020. That's when they say to expect it. So up next is the ranch out of time. So what the ranch out of time is basically player-owned farms meets Anachronia. So you will be able to get a brand new ranch out of there. It will have a few plots. It has 2 large, 1 medium, and 1 small, and then 1 breeding pen. You will be able to get the dinosaurs. You will be able to get other lizards, and you will be able to raise the lizards there, which is actually pretty cool. There is 14 entirely new species to raise on the farm, so that is quite a lot actually when you think about it. There's going to be a new granny going to be appearing there, which is called the Great Granny. So do keep that in mind. This is going to be very, very interesting. And the ranch out of time is actually coming out next month. Next month already, guys. And since farming is kind of the theme with this, there is actually going to be a farming and herb lore to 120 next month. So along with all these new creatures, we have new farming and new herb lore coming all the way up to level 120. So this is their criteria for a skill when it comes to it going to 120. Now, it's not that they don't want to do other skills, it's that they have a certain requirement, and these are the requirements that they have. They have to have actual content at every level, no gaps, so something every single level to 120. It says it must be worthwhile goals, so unlockable content that's worth shooting for. So that is a big thing for them. It must have quicker training methods to 120 and less of a grind, which those actually do have quite a few methods. And there must be generous cooldowns for trimp/comp max players. This way, you know, everybody can kind of get there. But so you got all this kind of stuff going on with the new farms. Now with the new farms means there's going to be new types of produce. So that means there's going to be new types of herb lore secondaries. So that's, I believe that's kind of why it came Tide to Tide. But there's also going to be new farming as far as, like, you know, things you can plant such as dragon fruit, avocados, stink shrooms, guarana. There's actually going to be a new tree going to be released, which is the money tree. So if you're lucky enough to get that, you will be able to, well, the seed for it, you will actually have to grow it successfully, and then you will potentially be able to harvest from the money tree every so often, which is pretty awesome. And there's going to be a farming hub with ranch out of time coming alongside it. With herb lore, they're actually releasing a new type of potion type thing, which is actually bombs. So these bombs are kind of just like explodable little things you can throw, kind of like a grenade. But there's freeze bomb, poison bombs, vulnerability bombs. There's a whole bunch, and it's all around herb lore, which with RuneScape, it actually makes sense that they finally did something like this. Which should mean that there should be something there for crafters too. If I'm going to be honest, you should be able to craft the glass containers to be able to throw them, unless they just recycle and keep using the water vials. There is RuneScape Mobile Early Access. So, here's the thing with this. any Android user, there is going to be another early access coming by the end of this month, which is a members beta. So that is something to keep in mind. You should have members before you go try to get into it, otherwise you won't be able to get into it. It's going to be for Android only. It says, now it does. They did say if you are on iPhones, do stay tuned for your chance to be able to play on mobile later next year. They're just trying to make sure this is actually perfect. There's actually a lot more coming up though too. We got the Desperate Measures quest, which is Anachronia and Carapic. There is the City of the Seniston quest, which is actually going to be pretty interesting. And then at the end of the year, there's going to be the Elder God Wars dungeon. So there's going to be a new dungeon, which means new bosses, new loot, and new stuff like that. That is pretty freaking sweet. There's going to be a Zandra quest. There's going to be a rework of managing Miscellanea, making it more worthwhile. And there's actually a team they announced during this. It is the Core Experience team. And what they do is they are the ones that are going to be responsible for fine-tuning RuneScape into a better client. So stuff like this is less choppy. You see how it's kind of choppy? Like, it's not bad, but there's like a little bit of delay. See, look. There's that little bit of delay, which can actually hurt you. That's going to be going away. Well, that's what they're going to work away. And then the whole clicking thing, and you see how there's a slight little delay. They're going to be trying to get rid of that. They're going to try to get the game better pathing, and a whole bunch of stuff. They're trying to completely polish this game even more so than ever. Consider this game like in a core standard, like high star rating game. Consider this to be kind of like a beta game right now, as compared to what they are planning for this game shortly. They are also doing stuff that if you go like this, well, that's a bad example, like this, your character will actually be highlighted and you will still be able to see your character. Or if you are running through a forest and there's trees, it'll actually, clear out the tree a little bit so you can actually see through it. And then you can actually see your character. This way you don't have to okay, where's my character? I mean, yeah, you're always center screen, but it's kind of nice to be able to see. And they're going to have better highlights around characters. Like, for instance, he'd be highlighted in green. But if I'd see a greater demon walking around, they'd be highlighted in red. The campfire should be actually highlighted in like a light blue whenever I hover over them. So the light blue is more of like your utility, that kind of stuff. But that's actually what's going on. Now this is just the stuff they announced. And they also have Game Jam kicking off October 9th, so that's something to keep in mind too. So they're going to be working on stuff during Game Jam. So keep that in mind. There's a lot going on. There's going to be a lot coming. And this is just from the stuff that they actually are willing to announce. So it is absolutely phenomenal. And if you have a chance, I would strongly recommend going over to RuneScape's main page. Reason being is because they have a lot of content posted about these updates coming up, and I want to see if I can't show you guys some of it right now. This is actually on the main page, and right here it has all the information for the new skill of Anachronia. And as you can see, there is even like a new pickaxe kind of things, which is pretty sweet when you look at it. That's batch of the Maddox. That's batch 2. So you'll have like special types. They really do look like a pickaxe, but trust me, they're not. It's kind of like it's an archaeological tool, but it does look and resemble a pickaxe. But like, here's an example of an area that's going to be coming with it. Look how beautiful that is. There's going to be like lost dungeons underneath areas, and I believe this is the one that is showing off the Crid It, which is in the Caridian Desert. And then you have Mauritania, which is showing off that. Then you got the one in the wilderness. There's going to be one in the wilderness, which is, and the thing of it is, this first one, they didn't say too much about like what, well, the dig site itself contains information about Zeros. This one here is in Mauritania, which contains information about Saradomin. The one in the wilderness, as you can tell, is going to be about Zamorak. So there is a lot to explore and see. Here's some of the new items, which you got better types of augmented tools. That is the XP boosting that you can actually sell to help you level items faster. These are the boots to actually help you gain energy other than, well, for your items, other than just, you know, you're playing run of the mill, hey, let's go gather and siphon energy. And then you have the new gizmo, the ancient gizmo, which is actually going to be kind of awesome, which will help you get new perks and stuff for your augmentable gear. Here's one of the new relics, which is actually kind of cool, which is actually a new weapon. So I believe they called it the Spear of an Annihilation. Two of the perks that were mentioned, with the relic perks that were actually mentioned, was the Abyssal Link and Slayer Introspection, which is Abyssal Link, which teleports spells from the spellbook, no longer require runes, but you don't get XP. You don't get magic XP for it, but you don't need the runes, which is phenomenal. I will probably be using that one. Then you got the Slayer Introspection, which is when being assigned the Slayer task, you'll be offered either the minimum or maximum number. So it is absolutely amazing, and for the first time ever, free-to-play players, you will be able to train the skill up to level 20 to start getting your teeth into it. And if it goes over very well, everybody likes it, and it's a big success with that, expect other skills to be doing the same in the future. But that is actually it for this video. There is so much information. I strongly suggest, like I said, go to RuneScape's main page. I gave you a summary as to what's going on. But as you can see, you got the announcements page, you have the range out of time and farming and herb lore to 120, and archaeology. So thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, later guys.